Hey guys, so today we're doing my History of Arstotzka, and we're gonna do from when it was under control by the Egyptian Empire, because I tried the Roman Empire last time and uh, found out that, hey, this is way too much in the past, because we're like in 3000 BC here, not, not during the time of the Roman Empire. Calexia was never involved with the Roman Empire, but it was involved with the Egyptian Empire. Now let's see when the Egyptian Empire fell first. So, if you don't know, Ostatsuka is from the game Papers, Please. When did the Egyptian Empire end? 30 BC. Okay. That's fine, we can do this. Alright, so, let's do it. So, the Egyptians first landed in Jenigan. I'm gonna do the Egyptians in red. In around 3000 BC and gained a lot of land here. This was the first Egyptian conquest in BC. Egypt is in red, so I'll put the colors in the description. Then they decided to find another city. Well, then they landed on the other coast and founded Avion Township. Avion Township was founded. Now, Calista was a god, was a leader, and he wanted a city named. So after taking some more land, there's some more land like this. We got this. This is the borders now. No, this is about like 75 years in. It's like 2925 BC. They took Vahachu next. They took all of this stuff next. And then they took Great Rapid. And kind of just did a smash down. This happened in 25 years, this. So this is the state of it in around 2900. This is after 100 years, which is not a lot, to be honest. It's not bad. Now, then they landed at Batavis, which was their third colony, which is a huge colony. They would eventually unite, but not at the moment. This was in about 2897 BC. Perelenza. Perelenza is then founded by the other colony. I'm gonna say that the lower colony is the eastern colony, or more known as the Obstranis, and these guys are the Coles. Well, no, those guys are the Ostos. So I'll get a distinctive color for each of them here. So this will be the Ostols, and this will be the Obstrons. So here are the two colonies. Klenlau is then taken by the Oxtols. These are two separate colonies. Colonies won't unite for a while now. See, from different parts of Egypt. Now entering around 2875 BC. These guys took Nepal and Rosenthal before almost taking Boston and Inyeko. These guys expanded their territory a bit. The Obstors, and then the Oxtols took Leninforma, almost taking Tovolis, but getting that much land. Third colony, which actually came in from the top, which actually came in from Tunxinito, the Epokos, they had took the borders here. Oh shoot, I just added a white line for no reason, okay. Actually took the border here and decided to claim all of this for themselves. They actually got Lezenati. Now you have 3 colonies. Oh yeah, by the way, the things that they didn't take were taken by the other colonies. Now these colonies were actually at pretty good terms with each other. They were good allies. And the Portals took Boston. This was around 2866 BC. So now I have 3 colonies in the area. And well, then there were some Orientals that got in. They actually took some colonies around here, but didn't really do much. Some colonies here, but actually had pretty good relationship. They called themselves the Coles. These were not Egyptian colonies. These were Chinese, Japanese, and Korean colonies. Well, the Obstranis are advancing. They took Cyberg, Sedeca, Apollonius, Roland. They didn't take True Glorian, but they did surround this guy. That's fine. They were still good allies at the time. This was the other colony. The Ekpors. Guys took Glorian and True Glorian and all that. Decided to round it out a bit. This is the part where the wars start. It's 2844 BC, and the first war of the colonies start. Now, these guys take Rixdorf and Vetter, but these guys wanted Vetter, and these guys didn't want to give up it, so they decided to take this land. So these guys, the Aktos, decided to take this land and take the thing they wanted, the other colonies wanted, Yuko City, as a response to them not getting what they wanted. And so the Ikpors went against the Akos, the Ostkos. And well, they underestimated the power of the Ostkos because the Ostols, because they took a lot of land. And after this land loss, they actually made peace. The biggest colony is definitely the Oskols at the moment. Then these guys decided to create a peace treaty. Decided to call themselves combine on themselves the Antegs. Guys became the Antegs. To combine their colonies as a bit of protection. So these guys invaded the Coles, started to become the Arcoles, the Ostcoles. So now we got two huge colonies, and this is what happened. So these guys decided to take this territory. This was agreed upon, by the way. These guys took this, all of this. Now these guys took the rest of this. Two colonies became the official colonies of Egypt around 800 to 800 BC. And this is the way it was for around 300 years. But then the Coles, which actually had a bit of land over here, decided to declare independence. And they actually did. I don't know if these were the original borders, but it was close to something like this. And they decided to not attack any of these, but decide to take over the coast. So that they did. They needed the coast. This is around 425 BC. Not 425, this is around 245 BC. And he decided to take some of the coast. Now the Egyptian colony of Oz and Obs, as it's called, didn't really do anything for a while, because they didn't think the Coles would be much of a threat. How long they were, as they're now taking Batavis, and they just took Tunxedo. And this is now 400 BC. To 400 BC. Now, they're still not doing anything. So they decide to take Paradanza, London Forma, Clennow, and Hahaian. Then the colony of Ozob decide, hey, maybe we shouldn't let this guy be doing this. And so they take back Clenlaw, but that's just about it. Don't take back any of the coastal cities. But they do defend this area by establishing its own separate colony that's protected. But they re-give the borders of this colony, which is now the Utah colony. But it's still under control by the Osob colony. This is now about 2390. This 90 years before the official establishment of the Kingdom of the Calexians. Well, technically it's just Calexia. Then not Arbistron, that comes later. The Coles decide to take this, Nepal, and they don't want to create that much of a war, so they just decide to take this much land, which is still quite a bit. the colonies decide before they take this, they decide to take that. And that. Now we got two powerful, but Calexia takes that in like a few years. It's now about 2369. The Kingdom of Calexia decides to make an attack on Kenlau, which fails, but they do almost take Lesinati and Boston before back at Keppel. They do take that much land, which is still a good amount of land. But, like, they're now getting village, so the colony decides to invade and take the port city of Tungskanito, which they do successfully. I don't think it's connected to the border yet. Let me just blup. There's a hole somewhere. And I don't know where. Well, I fixed it, so that's good. They do take Tungskanito, but that paves the way for Calexia to invade these guys. They take Avon Township and Carista City and invade the rest of the old territory. That's a grueling war. It takes about a decade. 11 years, and now it's 1058. 2358 BC. They decide, the colony of Orbox decide to take back the colony. And decide not to give, and decide just leave them alone. But at this point, the Coles already on their ambition spree. So they eventually take Klesnow and Boston, but they also get to the coast, which is what Orbox were fearing. The Orbox were feeling. The colonies fearing. So they decide to go to war against it. And this happened around 250, the 13-year war. So in the north now, the Calexia Eastern Campaign, which is the left, actually no, which would be the right, is actually pretty successful. They take Veta. I'm using the wrong color. They take Greston, Lurkju, and Lights Out, and Nusk, and then they just end at the border of now here. But the central campaign is successful, but not as they just take Veta and this land. But the western campaign sucked, as they tried to take stuff, but instead, this is what actually happened. They lost a lot of the coast. And this happened and after that defeat, they decided, yeah, let's not go to war anymore. So they made a peace treaty, and this is now, want to say, 2337 BC. And this is actually like that for, I'm going to say, almost 30 years. But in 2308, Calexia decides we want the coast. So they march they take Rosenthal through Glory, Northampton. They almost take all of the coast, but they don't. Only actually gain this much coast, which is still half, but it's not a lot. And this starts the 8-year war. And the central campaign for the colony actually does good. They take Klenlau as a Nadi, Rosenthal. That's the central campaign. Take actually that much land back. The Eastern campaign isn't as successful as the first Eastern campaign, but it's still successful. They take Frunes, Yoko City, and Rixdorf was going back to Grestin. And the Western campaign still sucks, as they lost Boston, Nepal, Kuvista City. They lost the rest of the coast again. And then, and it actually ended when the Calexia was officially established in 2300. And they decided to take Skal, which started the fall of the colony. Now, they put the general, which is unknown, but they put the general who was in charge of the East campaign and the West campaign, and he did good. He took Akita, Vanity. They almost made Murderous, but he took this much land. This is the coast, and there is a hole somewhere. Yep. Fixed it. He took this much land. The central guy stayed the same, and took actually a good chunk of land too. And the eastern guy decided, screw it, we'll change up their strategy, and went through mostly non-territorialized land, which was actually a smart move because he got more land out of that. And this was Calexia by 1095 or 2295. Now, at the moment, the colony's capital was Yatstik, but seeing this, they changed it to Londas. Now, this is an 11-year war. This is the war that ended the colony. Apollonia to Veda was the third central campaign, the second one of the war. And the eastern campaign took Yatsik and actually went to the island and took this much land. It's now becoming more and more clear that they were not going to win, as the eastern campaign was the most successful it's been throughout the war, taking Yasi, Yamnak, and basically almost reuniting the whole island, reuniting the whole side of the lake. Realizing that they're screwed, they try to change the colony, to Jambul, but Calexia didn't see that coming, but they almost took the city. They almost took Londas too, but they weren't able to successfully do that. And this is what's left of the colony. Eventually, Jambul did fall. After a bit of a siege. I didn't want to do that. And the rest of it fell by, I'm gonna say, 2288. Calexia had gotten the entire colony by 2288. And now I have to skip for a while. Now, pardon me here, but I'm gonna cut off the broadcast here. So, just look at a blank screen for a second while I look at my Excel document with the stuff in it. Only 24 minutes in and we haven't even heard of Ostatsuka yet. So the next country we're going to be focusing on is Calexia and Crimea. Now if you don't know what Crimea is, that's fine. We'll get to it. So Crimea. The theocracy of Crimea. So Crimea was founded in 1356. So in 5 years, Calexia fell because the theocracy of Crimea 1371. So we're gonna go to all the way because it stayed the same for a few hundreds of years. So basically we're gonna go it's now 1036 or 1066. 1366, my bad. So basically Prometheism, which is a form of prime, yeah, I'll get that into a separate video, took good of a mixture of infinity and decided to establish a colony in 1366. Calexia was fine with that because they kind of need a bit of competition because their economy is starting to fail because they've just been around for so long. But they actually want more land. Saint Mamero is a very historic land, so they just stroll through here and take Saint Mamero just like that, which the Calexians don't really like because Saint Mamero was one of their good lands. Oh yeah, and they take this. Oh shoot. Okay, I have to use. And they take this peninsula here. Well, it's not a peninsula, but a land peninsula. And the Calexians are like, nah, don't invade any more things or else we're going to war. Now, Glorian and True Glorian are also religious cities, so not heeding Calexia's warning, they take both Glorians. And that's when Calexia decides to declare war. And actually, that was a bad idea because now it's 1068 and they already. And in a 3-month, yes, 3-month campaign, they took this much land. It only takes 9 years for Calexia to fall, my bad. It only took 5 years for Crimea to be founded. And they're able to take Singleton, but not Cold Spring yet, on here in their little land peninsula, which is now expanded. Nepal is also a very famous city here, so they take that, along with Northampton and Yatsu. I don't know what else it's called. Watch out. Now, Calexia is starting to panic. So they go in and they only take specific cities. They take Londas, Saint Marmero, and Akita. Which is not much, but they don't take Glorian back. They don't really take a lot back. They're only able to take specific cities, which the colony, the Prometheism colony, taking Autograph Syndica. Don't take any of the colonies back, well, they take a bit of land back, but they surround them. They surrounded St. Romero, which made that fall, and they then decided to surround Akita and make that whole entire territory fall. And since Cold Spring is surrounded, they made that fall. This is around 1370. It's still a whole year before. And they do a lot in that year. They decide to now surround Londas by taking Saz and Yetamark, going around the lake, and deciding to do that. And then Londas falls. They almost have the whole lake. So then they decide to do a little old Calexian thing and take mainly uninhabited land, like the general from before did. So now they have this, and they officially declare the theocracy of Crimea in 1371. In 4 years, Calexia will fall. After this, as their victory, they take Boston, Lezenati, and Rosenthal. Basically, all of modern-day Republia. And now they're going to be taking Veda, Klenlau, and Bataris, but avoiding most of down here, because they want Grestin. Grestin is the city. the city, the most religious city in all of Calexia. But they're not gonna be. But they have to get through Cyberg and Wickstoff first. Actually, need to secure this coast first, which they do for Kalechia's end, modern day Kalechia's end. But Ostatsuka and Impor, modern day, not that willing. It takes them about 2 years to get to Lenin Former. It's now 1373. But since Lenin Former, which is a very good military base, falls, they're easily able to take Paradenza. By the way, Yoko City is the capital for, and with these guys cut off, they invaded pretty well. And this is by 1374. They are now ready to take Cyberg, which they do both cities in a failed swoop and actually connect a lot of land. Finally, 1375, but we're not going to get to that yet. They take all of this land too. Well, actually, no. Historically, in late 1375, they take Vestgrestin Octavilis, which is a good cultural base, and Ovigavona, another good military base, and they take those down. And it's not long for them to take Lotsu and Yoko City. In fact, it only takes them about 6 months to take Yoko, Lochao, and about a month to take Yoko City. And now we have the theocracy of Crimea, which I'm going to warn you now, falls apart awfully quickly. How awfully? Well, now it's 1514, and the Coles declare independence. The Coles take all of this back. The Coles take this. I'm missing something. The Coles take all of this. The rest is actually becomes the kingdom of Arstotzka. As after they had independence, the economy failed, and a month later is declared. Kingdom of Arstotzka is much bigger than now the kingdom of Calexia. Now I'm going to look at my Excel document for a second and see where we're at. So, Kingdom of Arstotzka lasts for about 156 years. Kingdom of the Calexians lasts about 256. So basically, it's at peace for most of the 1500s, but then during the 1600s, the first 1600s war actually sees Ostatsuka invade so they can get murderous. The invasion actually goes pretty well, but they don't get to murderous, but they do get this much land, which is not bad. Calexia responds by getting to the coast. Now Calexians take a huge chunk of land from the Ostotskins. On the coastline. That splits up the Ostotskins. The Ostotskins not wanting that decide, hey, one of us is gonna have to split. And they decide it to be the Kalechians. So they decided just to take Badowitz back. They are being generous to let them keep Klenlau and Vetter. Calexians then decide to try to take Reston. It fails. 9 months land, and then they sign a peace treaty because they really don't want a war. Now, this is the time where I do fix the borders here. I'm gonna fix the borders real quick. That sucks, okay. Fix the borders real quick. I am not good at tracing on the computer, my bad. Well, everything in blue is the ocean. That's the ocean. Let me just finish doing the borders now. That's Cold Spring, by the way. Sorry if some of the city names get cut off. I'll expand on what the cities are called in a moment here. Okay, so that's Tunskanito. Right here, let me fix some of the dots. Fix the dots that are really damaged. That should be good. Okay, sorry about the quick map fix, we just need to define modern day borders the best we can. Oh, I forgot this little area, this part of coast. Yeah, okay. These are mostly modern day borders. So now, after peace for around 40 years, the 13-year war starts, and that's basically Ostatsuka wanting land. So they take land. In fact, they take the Eastern campaign to a whole new level by invading most of the East and going into Central. They take that much land from the Calexians. So it's a 5-year campaign, but still. It's about 1154, 1654. Now, if I take a look at my document here, actually it's the 21-year war, my bad. But if we take, so Calexia decides to take back the coastline, fails, but they do take back Badarits. They do take Hazoi, Hahain, and Tunskanito, which now means that these guys are split in half. It doesn't matter as the Ostatskins decide to take this. Now, let me look at my document because it's supposed to be a Republic of Arstotzka. Okay. Republic of Ostatsuka doesn't happen until the 1760s. Oh. Here. So now, as when Calexia thinks all is over, all is lost, bada bing, bada boom. The Republic of Ostatsuka is founded. And the Republic is what's nicer than the kingdom. And they actually let the Calexians take that border, take Yazi, they take this. It's not modern day borders, but it's something. They let them take the coast to a point. Here, let me map out what they give you and you'll have a better idea of it. They're actually very generous to the kingdom of Calexia. This is all the land the kingdom of Calexia gets. They even let them be split. Kind of. They don't. But they don't want to be split. So they're like, they're gonna. We take a bit of modern day Arbistron and claim it as their own. And this is it for a while until the Empire of Arstotzka is founded. And in 4 years, all of that's going to. Here's my thing here. The Empire of Arstotzka was founded in 1763, so it's now 1763. It's the Empire of Arstotzka. And they decide, hey, we want the coast back. So in 1766, they take the rest of this coast back. And Calexia's like, whoa, 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 what are you doing? So when they invade Bataves, Ostatsuka goes full empire mode and full colonizing mode, invading mode. And they invade a lot of useless land, but they split Calexia up. And soon this part of Calexia falls. That's 2 years in. Then they take Yasi to Londaz. Yasi and Londaz. This is also Ostatsuka. And they take all of this too. Calexia has 1 year left. They did all of that in a year. And eventually they get to the lake, splitting these guys off and making them fall. And they take Cyberg and Rixdorf and Lochow and Liedzau in about 3 months. And finally, about 6 months after the year, in 1770, the rest of these guys fall. Now let me cut this out again so I can see what we're doing next. The next is going to be the French colony of Emporium. It's around 1807. So let's do that. 1807 is when these guys come in. Emporium, the French decide to have a little colony up here. Have a little. Okay, this is not connected fully, so. A little colony here. They strike a deal with Ostatsuka to have all of this. In 1807, the French colony of Emporium is founded. Now, this is where it gets complicated. So in 1889, the People's Republic, the state, because these are now all states, this is the state of Ikpor, state of Lakpor, Rikpor, Ekpor, Arstotzka, Cloakpor, and Obskpor. These are the different states. Don't tell me to pronounce those again. Well, these guys were still the kingdom, but they were under rule. But they then become communist and ask for independence. And the current capital, which is Ovigvona, decide, sure, why not, and give them all of this. So it's not much, but they do give some borders. And in 1889, the People's Republic of Calexia is formed. Now, taking a look at my document here again, this is the part where it's going to be black on, black on. So just the first Unita is founded first, 1901. So I'm gonna do this. You go up here, be on here. You go down here, do that. And you go here. Unita is founded in 1901. And Unita is this. This is all of Unita. Actually, it's a bit more than that. This is Unita. Then 6 years later, Feta is founded. Feta is all of this. This is Feta. I need to trace this the best I can because I don't feel like it. All of this is Feta. Attius comes actually after. Actually, the Kingdom of Impor came before Feta. Kingdom of Impor is, of course, this. Impor decides it wants its own borders and screw Ostatsuka, so they declare independence from France. That's why they're declaring a kingdom. Kingdom of Impor. Boom, bam, bop. Kingdom of Impor takes that too. And this is all the Kingdom of Impor now. Finally, the Federation of Ostatsuka is founded. And they give Calexia this little peninsula here. No, they don't give him that. They give Calexia a little peninsula here. It's Betavis. Litzau. And they give him this. Let me just fix this real quick. Mother flupper. Okay, I'm just gonna have to do my best to trace over it. So after the founding, it's about 1910 now. So 2 years after that, the sovereign state of Atias, which is basically the rest of this, is founded. Atias, Feder, and Atias. Then Republia declares independence in 1916. Republia is this. That is Republia. Then another thing happens in Ostatsuka, which makes it now a communist country. And they give even more land to Calexia. They don't lose Grestin yet, but they take this much land, Crimea and Batovitz. Take that much land. Then Antegria is founded in 1920. Antegria founds itself in 1920. In 1933, Arbistron finds itself. These are all declaring independence from Ostatsuka. And this is the map for the moment being. Now, since there's no really defense here, Calexia takes this, which Ostatsuka doesn't like, because this was still our territory, so Ostatsuka decides to take this, all of this. And I'm missing something, it's not fully connected, I think. No, something's not fully connected here. Fixed it. They decided to take all of this. They take a bit more. They take this too. Calexia doesn't want to mess with them anymore and fear of losing more land. So they are at peace. This happened around 1935, this war, 1935, 1940. So in 1960, Atias declares the United Federation. 2 months later, Feder joins. 3 months and 4 months after that, Atias forms. Atias joins. And this is so now that 6-year war of Ostatsuka takes place, where Calexia basically invades Ostatsuka. Even though they try to defend it their best, they take this, splitting Grestin in half, because that's all they can take from Grestin. They split Grestin in half, and yeah. And then they just decide peace, peace, peace. And that is the history at the moment. That's it. The reason that's it, it's because they have nukes now and they're scared. Boston is the capital. Actually, I better put a gold thing. Boston is the capital of Republia. Saint Mamero is the capital of Antegria. Great, silly me. Great Rapid, United Federation. Skal Ovigvona. Skal is the capital of Obistan, Ovigvona, Ostatsuka, Yoko City, Calexia, and Hahayan, which is Impo. And that is the history of Arstotzka. Up until Papers, Please. Actually, up until today. We can do an alternate history going into the future. That would be another video in of itself. So, anyway, here's the full map if you want to look at it. It's full map. The lake is the same. Oh, I forgot a bit of land here. Plop, plop, plop. And yeah. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, all that YouTube nonsense, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.